Alright guys, so here we are inside the tent. This is the Seek Red Cliff, so it's a 6-man tent. But this stove will work in the vast majority of them. You'll have to check the specs, but it's an 18-inch base. Most people have about 9 inches between their pinky and thumb, so it's pretty easy to figure out when you know where your stovepipe's going to be. That's about how big of a area it's going to take up, and it's going to taper up from there, right, with the conical design. But to get the most out of your stove, you're going to either take a rock. We're actually lucky enough that we're on sandy soil right now, so digging I could do it with my hands. But we'll show you how to do it in other ground as well. So it's pretty easy just to dig out. I'm not going to dig out the full 18 inches because I don't want to sit the stove down in it. I want to come in just a little bit. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it though, really. Probably going to just dig right here. And I'm going to use this sand around the edge then though to be able to stake it in. So in this stove, and by the way, we've been here a few days, so you can see some ashes. We've had some fires going in here already. But we're just gonna dig it out, something like that. Here, I'll face it towards you for now. But then I'm gonna take my stakes, and the stakes are something you don't have to run, but I mean, I would probably never leave home without them, because once you are able to stake this in, you know, as good as you can. There's a lot of rocks in this ground, so it's hard sometimes to get them all the way in, but I'll work around the rocks. But see, now I've created a lot of rigidity. This thing's not going over when I'm loading a big round or split. You know, if I'm hitting the back of the stove or whatever, the stove's not going anywhere. If there's a tough storm or whatever, once again, it's not going anywhere. I'm then going to take my stovepipe. By the way, I got this a little bit too much at an angle. I should have moved it over, but that's all right. We can still work with this, I think. Expand this out so it goes around. Let's see here. There we go. And then I'm going to bring my worm buckle down. Tighten that. And there we got it. It's solid. This isn't going anywhere. It's probably as solid as the tent pole. So I set it up a little bit at an angle, but depending on your tent with the pole, you may have to as well. It works fine at an angle, but ideally it's straight up and down, but that doesn't really affect anything as far as usability. But get that stove up. Load your wood there. We've got the ventilation down here where you can actually pull it down over, control the airflow. You want some air to feed that fire, so you're probably going to want to leave those open most of the time. But then you've got your dampener spark arrestor here that you can pull in and out as you want to control the fire as much as you can. So once you get it really burning, you get a good coal base established, you can push this dampener card in and dampen the fire. Another quick tip I want to give you is a lot of times people with all stoves complain about startup smoke, and that's depending on the kind of wood. A lot of scenarios go into having a lot of startup smoke, but one way you can really eliminate that, and it's just a little trick that I've done now several times, and it's amazing just how much. And you got two options. I always bring some fire starters, even though it adds a little bit of weight. I always bring a few of these and I cut them into thirds, and there's multiple different kinds I'm sure you guys know that you can use. But if you just take a little piece of one of these, and what I'll do when I'm starting the fire, before I put this on, is this just takes a minute or so to get on, right? I'll actually just I'll pull my spark arrestor out, and I'll just put a piece of this on here and I'll light it. Because what that does is it pushes all that cold air out, and it actually creates that vacuum, it creates that draft, which is what you want. And then I'll start my fire down below about a minute after that's been going. It'll actually create good draft, and then I'll start my fire, and it eliminates 90% of your startup smoke. So if you're not picky about smoke, don't care. Startup smoke, this is a bigger chamber, especially once it's been dug out. So there is some startup smoke until that draft gets created, and then it just disappears. Sorry, it started snowing in the background here, but you get that crazy Idaho spring weather where it's sunny and hot, and then it's rainy and snowy just in a matter of minutes. But Yeah, so now I've got it in excavation mode. I've got it, you know, I've added close to 1,000 cubic inches to the stove itself, plus the already, I think it's close to 1,300 or 1,400 cubic inch stove. So one of the biggest stove on the market for the weight. So, and as you can see, it was quick to set up. You can set it up in a minute. Can do it with cold hands. Can do it with gloves on. Yeah, you'll get a lot of good even heat out of this. It burns really efficiently and really strong. But that's the Pyro stove, and that's how you set it up, and that's how you run it in excavation mode.